Okay. Hey, everybody. Hello, Peace to Profits coaching group. I am so excited to be with you. Happy New Year to you. We have crossed on over, and this is the first training of the year. And I am so excited to be talking to you about something that I think is going to be very, very helpful. So, this is part one of a three-part series that we are doing this month as we get ready to set up our businesses for ultimate and impactful success. Okay. And so today and for the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about building better boundaries. And again, this is part one. I'm excited that we are trekking along together in this new year. I'm definitely expecting great things to take place and great things to happen. I know that you all have goals in mind, and I know that you are setting up these mile markers so that you can achieve your goals. But one of the things that's going to be very important so that we can meet these objectives and meet these goals is that we set some boundaries in place and some safeguards so that we're able to really meet what it is that we seek out to achieve. And so I'm excited to be talking to you guys today about how we can go about these boundaries. And this is part one. So this week we're going to be talking about identifying and establishing the boundaries. Next week we're going to be talking about communicating those boundaries. And then the last week we're going to be talking about honoring and holding our boundaries and what that looks like. Now, I know we're talking about boundaries in business, specifically in your coaching business specifically, but if you are a coach such as myself, who listen, for me, my business is my life is my business. They all go hand in hand. I am a kingdom focused coach, and because of that, everything I do is to the glory of God. Everything, the way I live my life, the way I run my business, the way I wife to my husband, the way I mother my children, the way I serve in ministry, et cetera, et cetera. So they're going to cross over, and we'll talk about that. And I'm going to share some of my experiences and some of the things that I found to really help me in previous years in business and in life. But today specifically, we're going to be talking about identifying and establishing boundaries. All right. All right. So I'm just going to flow. Go with me as I flow here today. But I want you to ask yourself, what is it that do you need to do? What is it, okay, that you need to do so that you can show up as your best self in this year? Okay, what does that look like for you? Showing up as your best self this year. Now, I'm going to tell you, for me to show up as my best me, I had to realize that there's a measure of grace that I had to extend myself. I had to really buckle down and get committed to a schedule and a plan. Not everybody can work with the schedule. I happen to be somebody who needs those lines defined and drawn for me. So I use my schedule, and I realized in order to show up as my best self, what worked for me in the past and where I found things not working was when I did not adhere to what I had in place. And another thing for me to show up as my best self, as I have to sometimes get rid of this. That means take my phone and my devices and put them in a completely separate room and just flow. Whatever the task is I have at hand, I have to just flow. So I want you to ask yourself, what is it that I need to do in this next year so that I can show up better than I did in the past, so that I can show up better as a woman, better as a wife, as a mother, as a coach, and even better as a friend? Because I'm going to tell you, I've got several friends who are not in my business world. And so I had to ask myself, how can I show up better for my friends who, don't really understand some of what I go through as a business owner? All righty. Now, for you, in order to achieve this, now remember what we're doing here is identifying and establishing boundaries. All right. So for you, what you may need to do is what I like to say, conduct a productivity audit. All right. So how do you do that? You grab a planner. All right. You see what it is you're doing. You mark that down. Now, this doesn't have to be something that you do on an ongoing basis, but identify where you spend your time. Identify what you have dictated to be, or determined rather, to be the priority in your life and in your business. The planner could be a paper planner. It doesn't even have to be a planner. It could just be a piece of paper where you itemize your day. Go through your day and identify where are you spending your time and what does that look like. All right. And so if there are some changes that need to be made, we're gonna make those changes. All right. Yes, again, I am such a planner. I really believe that in this next season, for our businesses and in our lives, God, He gave me three directives. Let me see if I can remember them, because I didn't write them down, but I should have. He said that we're going to need to increase our prayer level. We're going to need to increase our praise level, and we're going to need to be prepared. Okay. So prayer, praise, and preparation. Now, for me, preparation looks like a plan. And so if I want to obey what he's telling me to do in this season with prayer, with praise, and with preparation, I need to have a plan. I need to have my planner. Yes, I could, if I wanted to, use my tech planner, right? I could use calendars on tech. I could use project management tools. I could, but for me, I need to use something on paper. You know, I keep this handy, y'all, that my planner where I color block. All right. That's for me. The other thing you may need to do is you may need to grab a partner. All right. So, one of the things we've been doing in the Impeccable Impact community is having our focus sessions where the group of women, we come together and we haven't paired up in part as partners, but we are definitely identifying where we can support one another. So, where can you get your support? Who does that look like? Now, for me in the past, guess what? My support has been my husband. He has been my biggest cheerleader. He has really been my accountability partner. When I wasn't accountable to myself, my husband, he pulled on through and made me, I don't want to say made me feel guilty, but definitely reminded me of the things that I wanted to commit to and helped me stay on track that way. So you might need to grab a partner for yourself. If you're looking to do better by your finances, get somebody who is better with their finances that can help usher you along. If you are looking to be a better mother, a better ministry worker, et cetera, find somebody that you can touch and agree with, grab hands with, and do this thing together. Because I'm telling you, you go, and I haven't said this in such a long time, but you go further faster when you do it with somebody, when you do it in partnership with somebody. So look for somebody that you can go further with so that you can get these boundaries set. All right. You may also need to hire help. All right. So is there a particular coach that you need? Is there a particular, maybe you need to get a housekeeper once a month, or maybe you need to hire somebody to do your grocery shopping, or get, Instacart or a service like that, or pay for the curbside pickup so that you can maximize your time boundaries. All right. All kinds of boundaries. We've got those financial boundaries. We've got our time boundaries. We've got our emotional boundaries. We've got relationship boundaries. We've got mental boundaries, right? There are all kinds of boundaries. Maybe you need to enlist the support of somebody that can help you out. I know one of the things that we've been okay with doing is we don't have a huge yard, but it's not a good use of our time boundaries to be in our yard. So we committed to getting somebody to get in our yard together. So all last year we had help in our yard. I like a nice yard. I just don't have the time to do it. I honor my time boundaries and I just don't have the time to do it. And so what is it? Where can you enlist the support of somebody else? Now we've hired somebody, right? Maybe you can barter some services with somebody. Maybe there's somebody that you know who is a great cook, but she's going through a divorce and you happen to be a divorce coach. or somebody who is great with productivity and time management, and they can help keep you straight, right? And they have a service where they do this, but they need help with their health and wellness, and you are a fitness coach. Okay, so there might be opportunities for you to even barter services as you seek to establish these boundaries for yourself. Ultimately, you want to get another set of eyes on this, right? There's always different perspectives. And especially for those of us who are moms and wives, it's not just our interest that we have to be concerned about, it's the best interest of our family. As we look to running our businesses and running our homes, can we enlist the support of another set of eyes to help us see things from a different perspective so that we can make the best decision for our family at large? I don't want to go forward and really only be concerned about our business, because we aren't those kind of people, right? If we don't have the support of our family, our businesses are not going to be their best. That's why the name of the Facebook group is Peace to Profits. We want peace in our home so that we can have profits in our business, and getting another set of eyes so that we can see things from a different perspective is going to be key. Okay. All right. Now, there are some special considerations. All righty. Special considerations. Again, as we got started, I talked about the goals. I want you to make sure that you got your goals in place for how these boundaries are set. So for instance, if you set a financial goal or a giving goal, and it's really going to take some intention for you to really buckle down and get to work so that you can meet these goals, well, then you're really going to need to make sure that your boundaries you've got these tight lines drawn in the sand for what constitutes the boundary that you are not willing to cross. And I'm talking about financial goals in your business, and I'm talking about financial goals in your life. If you and your spouse determine, yes, this year we're going to give, whatever that amount is, a percentage or a dollar amount for charitable giving, for tithing, for whatever type of giving. And y'all know how I feel about giving. Like, that is probably one of the lifelines. That and prayer is the lifeline of a successful business to me. There are going to be some things that you want to do and do differently than you did last year. All righty. So I want you to consider what those goals look like for you. I also want you to consider what time of life you're in. Now, I happen to be in the time of life where I've got little ones at home. Okay. Some of you might be going through some health issues right now. And so some of you might be in a rebuilding stage. Some of you might be going through a difficult time in your marriage, or some of you might be dealing with some stuff with your kids. Look, I don't wish that on anybody. And my prayer is that that not be your testimony within the next several weeks, seriously. But you want to identify what time or what season of life you're in as you create and establish these boundaries. The other thing is the time of year, like realistic stuff. Like, we know that every February, Valentine's Day is going to come up. So how are you preparing to establish boundaries around Valentine's Day and how you spend that with your family? We know there's anniversaries that come up. There are birthdays that come up. There are holidays that come up that are generally regarded as holidays for family, especially later in the year when we have Thanksgiving and Christmas and things like that. So you want to make sure that you are setting up boundaries now that are going to lend way for you to be able to do the things that you want to do in your schedule later. The other thing is you also want to identify what is taking place in your business. So if you're like me and maybe you've already planned out your year, like seriously, y'all, I have a speaking engagement every single month, at least one every single month. My June of this year, like I have no, like, I'm even like, okay, look, my schedule is going to be so tight in June. I'm going out of the country twice in June. Right. And so you want to identify what's happening in your business so that like quarterly, maybe you have events or master classes or things like that. You want to identify, what do you have? Do you have a book launch coming up? I think I just spoke prophetically into somebody. I believe this year that there are several book launches. And if you haven't planned for it, I feel urging of the Spirit right now to tell several of you, get ready for your book launch. Add that into your schedule this year. Yes, let's do it, right? So special considerations for things that are taking place in your business as well. Alrighty. Okay, so several years ago, I was on this whole time management kick, like a whole kick about time management. Even on my Chica Life podcast, there are episodes already uploaded where I talked about time management. But then I shifted. I want to say it was in 2021. I really got this download about no, it's not about time management. It's more about the energy management. And no, I'm not talking about the energy of the universe. I'm talking about the energy that God gives us, a literal energy that comes straight from that source. All right. And so for me, that looks like my spiritual energy, right? Listen, like, let me just be real. There are some days where you all know I talked about it all the time. I get up in the morning and I spend time with God. But there are some days where I'm like, do I have to do this? Yes. 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 There are days where I struggle with connecting with God. Look, I know I'm not the only one that wakes up sometimes like, yeah, I just don't feel like praying right now. Yes. So that is that spiritual energy. Then there's that physical energy. There are days where I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym. Right. And so let me tell you what I did, because I was letting myself down all last year about my gym time. And so this year I said, okay, we're not doing that. There were some scheduling shifts that needed to take place. So I love how God really gave me this idea. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm also a certified personal trainer. Yes. And so I know how to plan workouts that are going to benefit me, lack of time or lack of energy, et cetera, et cetera. Or if I know I'm not able to really eat like I need to after a workout, like I can prepare and plan workouts like that. So I had to do that for myself. And so far, since I did this at the end of last year, I have been doing great. So I don't work out every day, Monday through Friday anymore. Well, I sort of kind of do. I do something at home every single day, but that's just so that I can keep committed, right? But I've plan my workouts 3 times a week, which has been working out fabulously. So rather than going in and hitting the gym within 45 minutes, I do spend a little bit longer. But when I go in there, I'm so much more focused as well, and I get more done, and I see the results, and I'm able to keep committed and stay consistent. So physical energy. Then there's that mental energy. Mental energy is literally the capacity to get new information, process it, and identify how it relates to you, your life, your business, whatever the case. So that mental energy. I say that I am no good after 2 p.m. and I'm gonna stop saying that. Y'all pray for me. I'm gonna stop saying that. But at a certain time, I do find that my energy and capacity to retain information drastically decreases. So I have to pay attention to that as I create these boundaries, and when I'm going to do certain work tasks, and when I'm going to do certain things with my children. And then there is that financial energy. Let me just pause on that for a minute. I know you're probably like, what does that have to do with energy? So the thing that a mindset shift that I've had to make in my business as it relates to money is just currency. Money is just energy, right? Like electrical energy just moves. Money just moves. Money is just a tool to do things, right? And so one of the things that I've been sharing with my community, and I haven't been doing it as much lately, but I think I will, is I keep it very real in my business. So the money that comes in my business goes right back out. No, I'm not buying purses. No, I'm not buying clothes. No, I'm not overindulging in things that I don't need. Absolutely not. The money that comes into my coaching business goes into investments so that it can make money. My desire, the energy around my financial management, or the energy management around my financial currency, is about how can I take the money that comes into my business and double it, or triple it, or quadruple it, or 10 times it. I promise you, every dollar of profit that comes into my business, it don't just sit and accumulate. No, 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 no. I am determined to make kingdom impact. And that means I'm giving that money. That means I'm reinvesting that money so that I can let my money work for me, right? And at a certain level, it don't take much energy to do that. It really doesn't. Okay, so we can talk about that later, but those are some of the things that I also wanted to mention as we identify and establish these boundaries. All right, so let me give you 4 quick things that I want you to do as we identify and establish these boundaries. And I already see I'm not doing a good job of keeping this at 15 to 20 minutes, but that's okay. We're just flowing. All right. Number one, I want you to sit down and determine what your priorities are. All right. If you need to have a conversation with God, ask Him, Lord, please reveal to me, God, what it is you need for me to do in my business. Reveal to me, God, what are some income producing activities that I need to build boundaries around so that I can make sure that I'm intentional and focused on these things. God, in this season, I know that content will be my friend. Ask the Lord, how can you embark on a strategy for content creation that includes marketing, email marketing, social media marketing, in a way that maximizes your time and does not cross the lines of the boundaries that He is having you to establish for yourself? I also want you to identify, again, those holidays, those vacations, those anniversaries, and those birthdays. All righty. Okay. I want you also to identify how the priorities align with that energy management that I talked about, your spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, and financial energy management. So let me give you a quick example. It works best for me when I give God the top of my day. So it works best for me, despite how sleepy I am when I wake up in the morning, that I come into the incubator and I put on my music and I just pray. I pray to Him in English, I pray to Him in tongues, and then I have Him speak into me, and He does. He pours into me every single day. So that is how I manage my spiritual energy. All right. That also helps me. Actually, that pours into so many things. But you see what I'm saying? I want you to just identify how your priorities in your business align with. So let me give you another example. The mental capacity to get new information and process it. When does that work best for you? Are you a night person? Like, is it after the family goes to bed? Can you sit at the computer and just like hash it out? Like, is that when you're able to really go hard? Or are you a morning person? I happen to be a morning person. I get more done by 8 o'clock than most people can do in their business all week. I promise you, when I'm intentional. Okay, so just identify how your priorities align with the elements I mentioned in that energy or time management. Okay, next I want you to decide that you want it to work. Decide that you want it to work. Now, this is not the time for it, but we talk about consistency and commitment and interest. Okay, I don't want to just say consistency and commitment. Well, you can't be consistent if you're not committed. True, but you won't be committed if you don't have an interest. And remember, I've talked about this. Your interest needs to go 50 generations deep. So 50 generations from now, why are you interested in the thing that you are committing to today? I pause for dramatic effect. Yes. All right. So dig in deep with that. And then the fourth thing, I want you to allow margin. Okay. Now I know we're establishing and identifying boundaries, but I also want you to allow margin. I want you to be flexible with the results and adjust wherever necessary. I need you to allow for God to pull a move, and now you've got to pivot, and you'll be okay with that. All right, because I promise you, when you do that, he will help you to make sure that this pivot is in alignment with the boundaries that you and he have set together. All righty. Okay, so I definitely have gone long. I thank you so much for this day. My days, I'm really in maximizing the time that I show up. So I thank you so much. And I pray that this was helpful for you. This is part 1. I'll be back next week with part 2. And let me just share with you again the 3 parts of this. So first, we're talking about identifying, establishing the boundaries. And that's what we just talked about today. Next week is going to be communicating the boundaries. And then lastly, we're going to talk about how you honor and hold those boundaries. All righty. All right. So I pray again that this was beneficial. Remember, sit down, determine what those priorities are, identify how they align with those elements of management, make that decision, the conscientious decision. Let me also say, when you make the decision, know that the enemy is going to fight you on that. know that there's probably going to be some backlash. So I also would suggest that you guys get some scriptures that are going to help you out, that are going to motivate you and keep you going. Find some of your favorite scriptures that will help you to continue to press. And then lastly, I want you to just remain flexible and go with God's flow. All righty. All right, y'all. Take care. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And again, happy new year. I'm excited and expecting great and amazing things. God is so good. And I believe, listen, I just feel a stirring right now. Whatever it is that he told you in this year that he would do, I need for you to believe that he will do it. Believe that he will do it. All righty. All righty, y'all. I will see you later. Take care, guys.